they say, were linked to the Archimedes Group. Archimedes Group. It's a Tel Aviv-based political consulting and lobbying firm that boasts, right, publicly, of its social media skills and its ability to, this is in quotations, you ready? Their ability to change reality. Change reality. So here's the question. Because I now reported this story, which is obviously very critical of Israel, does that make me an anti-Semite? According to many people, and according to some laws that are now being passed in places like Florida and Texas, the answer is, yeah, could be. I take this up now with Miko Peled. He's an Israeli with deep IDF connections who's authored The General's Son. For more on this, I want to talk to Miko Peled. He's an Israeli-American activist who wrote The General's Son, Journey of an Israeli in Palestine and Injustice. Something is going on in America right now that seems to be asking Americans to be beholding to Israeli foreign policy. Should we be somewhat bothered by that? And why isn't anybody questioning that?
That's a very good question. I think that Americans should be very bothered by this. Americans are paying Israel billions of dollars every single year in foreign aid, and Israel is a rich country that does not need foreign aid. So that's the first thing they should be asking. American foreign policy, particularly in the Middle East, has been written by the Israeli government, by Benjamin Netanyahu, not based on American interests, but based on Israeli interests. And I'm sure you remember when Netanyahu was here in front of at the Capitol, trying to explain why getting rid of Saddam Hussein and attacking Iraq was going to bring wonderful things to the region. You know, we know what that did. And now, for some reason, they're still listening to him.
Are we carrying Israel's water when it comes to foreign policy? I mean, you know, Bibi Netanyahu says jump, and our administrations all tend to say how high.
Yes, that is precisely the reason. And I think Netanyahu and generally the organizations in the United States that support the State of Israel, AIPAC and some of the others, have a lot of clout. They have a lot of say in Washington, D.C.
Good on them, though, right? I mean,
well,
I guess.
Of course. I mean, that's the way the system is. If you have a strong lobby, you get what you want, of course. The fact that it is not good for Americans, the fact that it's wasteful, the fact that it's ruining the Middle East, and the fact that it is making peace less and less possible than ever, is something that Americans need to consider. Is this the legacy they want?
But guys like me, for example, we get very conflicted. I think a lot of Americans have this problem. Every single person that I have ever known or grown up with in my neighborhood who's Jewish is a great guy, tends to be. I mean, you know, every group has its bad apples, right? But every Jew I've ever known in my life is generous, is kind, tends to be kind of smart, just generally really cool people who I like. When I went to Israel, I liked everything about everybody I met in Israel. I even like generally that I find it to be as much of a democracy as what we have here. But yet, when I am asked to look at its foreign policy, vis-a-vis our foreign policy, I find all kinds of problems with it. Yet, I'm conflicted by that.
Well, Jews and Israel are two separate things. Israel has nothing to do with Jews. Jews have nothing to do with Israel. The fact that Israel claims it is the state of the Jews, it is their own self-proclamation. It has nothing, no Jews have ever voted for that. So,
by the way, you say that, but a lot of people make others like myself feel like if I criticize Israel, I can't be a real friend of the Jews.
Those people are working for the state of Israel. That is not something that you will hear. If you go up to upstate New York, to Brooklyn, to places where the deeply Orthodox Jews live, you will not see a single Israeli flag. They will not tell you that at all. So we have to realize that some Jews who support the state of Israel, who identify themselves as Zionists, are identifying themselves with a racist ideology. Mm-hmm. And if you dare to confront that, if you dare to question that, the only comeback they have is that you are the racist, you are the anti-Semite, not that they are supporting a racist ideology, which is what Israel is based on.
How did you come to this awareness, given your background, and just how much backlash do you get from your friends about this?
Well, I was a Zionist and pro-Israel as anybody, with my background, of course. The only thing that makes us break away from deeply held beliefs is a tragedy, and it forces us to look deeper and reflect. In my case, My 13-year-old niece was killed in a suicide attack in Jerusalem, and that forced me to take a stronger, deeper look and reflect and see what is going on here. What would make 3 young men kill themselves and kill a bunch of other people? And then I began meeting Palestinians, because growing up as an Israeli, you don't meet Palestinians. You live in a very segregated, it's a completely segregated country.
Yeah.
So it is a democracy for Israelis, just like America is a democracy for white privileged people, but not so much for blacks and others. That is the same reality in Israel. And when I began to take that journey, as the title of my book suggests, into that other sphere, take that journey to meet Palestinians, I realized that there was injustice here. I realized that there was racism here.
Nico Paulette, boy, I'll tell you, what a great story. Thanks so much for being with us.
Sure, absolutely.
Here's a story I've been looking